Many employee growth plans fail long before they're ever put into use. Leaders spend time building them, they present them to their teams, and then nothing happens. No momentum, no engagement, no growth. If you've ever offered development opportunities and watched people ignore them, or worse yet, you've invested in their education only to have them take their new skills to one of your competitors, you know exactly how frustrating that is. Well, by the end of this video, you'll have the tools to build a growth plan that reduces turnover, drives performance, and gives your company the capability to scale profitably. And you'll also discover why most growth plans stall out before they ever get started, and what has to be in place before any employee will take ownership of their development. Now, stay to the end because I'm going to show you a development hack most leaders don't even know about. It's a simple action that instantly boosts esteem, activates ownership, creates a natural desire in your employee to contribute more. Now, in the decades I've spent creating high performing teams using my radical accountability doctrine, I have used this process to transform organizations across industries. So I know it's going to work for you. Now, the first step in creating a successful growth plan is laying the proper foundation. Now, I learned this with one of my earliest clients. He ran a managed service provider, and his turnover, well, it was a revolving door, frankly. People came in, they got trained, they got some experience, and they left. So, to fix this, he decided to create a development plan because studies show proper development plans actually increase employee engagement and reduce turnover. So they offered certifications, training, a clear path for advancement. He even offered to pay for everything. Now, you would think this would solve the problem. It didn't. See, no one used the program. Turnover stayed high. And here's what we realized. You see, a growth plan won't work if that foundation underneath it is broken. Before people will grow with you, they need to feel safe. They need to feel like they belong. And they want their contribution to be seen and valued. So, this is where Maslow's hierarchy of needs reveals exactly what is missing. See, Maslow showed that humans only pursue higher levels of achievement after their foundational needs are met. And growth plans live at the top of that hierarchy. So, if a lower need isn't satisfied, that growth plan simply won't work. So, let's walk through the levels and I'll show you exactly how they apply to you in your workplace. Now, Maslow begins with the physiological needs, our need for food, water, basic survival. It makes sense, right, that we will take any risk to accomplish those things because the alternative is death. So we have no other needs if those aren't available. In the workplace, this simply means you've hired somebody and you're giving them a paycheck that covers their essentials. Now, once their physiological needs are met, everything else opens up. So what Maslow said is that the next thing we become aware of is a need for safety. And if you think about it, growth requires risk. No one is going to risk stretching themselves in an environment that feels unpredictable. So safety comes first. And it comes from a few things in business. One, setting clear expectations. What is your job? How are you supposed to do it? Providing structured processes so people know what to do. Consistent leadership. And making sure their job is tied to their performance. Their stability in their job is tied to their performance. Because if you think about it, if today doesn't feel safe, tomorrow doesn't really matter, does it? Now, once we've created that safety structure, we've put those elements in place, then as humans, we want to feel belonging. You see, we're wired for connection. We're pack animals, and we survive and succeed in groups, not as isolated individuals. And belonging grows when people understand how their work impacts others, where they fit into the team, and when their values are aligned with the values of everybody around them. And in your case, that means your organization, your company. Then people commit because they feel they're a part of something bigger. Otherwise, they disengage and eventually leave if they don't feel that connection. Now, if you're going to be part of a group, part of a team, your contribution to that team matters because that's how we stay connected. And that's what Maslow called esteem. We're not talking self-esteem. Esteem is the respect and regard your team receives from each other. It comes when someone's contribution is recognized and valued, and it's reinforced through your feedback conversations. See, recognition says, I see what you did, and here's why it matters. Or possibly a counseling conversation, which may seem counterintuitive. But when you have a counseling conversation, what you're really saying is, you can do better. I believe you will. So when esteem is present, people then have the confidence to take on bigger challenges because they recognize the team supports them and values them. And that opens up the door for self actualization. Self actualization is where work feels meaningful, when someone sees a future with your company and they want to grow because that growth aligns with who they want to be. Self actualized employees don't need to be pushed. They choose to develop because the environment supports their highest potential. Now, if this is resonating, please tell me in the comments, especially which part of the foundation your team needs the most. And while you're there, go ahead and hit the like and subscribe because it's going to help more leaders like you build teams that can scale. Once the foundation is solid, you can now create a growth plan that people will actually use. Now, a strong plan has three parts. It has a clear destination, a skill roadmap, and meaningful experience that will build towards mastery. That roadmap starts with the destination. Where does the individual want to go? What role do they feel called towards? What future lights them up, gets them excited? Because when someone is open to self actualization, that destination must be their dream, not just what you as the company needs. It has to be the marriage of both. And your responsibility is to find that overlap between what they want and what the organization needs. That's the win win. That's what makes the development plan work. Once you have that destination, next we need to create the list of skills that that role requires, whether they're technical, operational, decision making, people skills, tools they need to understand how to use, or processes they have to master. The clearer this skills list, the better and smoother that development will be. Now, once you have that, you're all set to create the training plan. See, training must follow a logical progression. It's not haphazard. It has to build on itself. We start with basic skills, learn how to apply them. Then we put multiple basic skills together and wrap them up into something a little bit more advanced in intermediate school and discover how to apply those. And then finally, we create advanced skills and we show them that as well as how to apply. You'll notice we're alternating theory, practice. And this does a few things. First of all, it prevents overwhelm. It allows people to absorb the lessons, practice the lessons, and then expand on the lessons. And it makes learning stick. As people develop these skills, we want to give them stretch projects to do as well. Not easy projects, stretch. Stretch projects push someone to go beyond their current ability without overwhelming them. It's going to reveal both their strengths as well as expose some gaps in the training and clarify for you where to focus next. See, growth happens when responsibility meets support. Then you're also going to need to create some milestones, 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, clear checkpoints to keep momentum alive. See, without milestones, a growth plan becomes nothing more than a wish list. Finally, you need to define what does success look like. When are they going to be ready? What outcomes or behaviors are going to prove to you that they are prepared to step into the next role? Not up to, it's not a stretch at this point, into. See, people will move faster when they know what those targets are. Now, once we have all of that in place, we have the plan, we take people through that. Execution is where that growth plan is either going to take off or die. And as you do that, you're going to need to put in mentoring, coaching, have consistent follow through, and bring that plan to life. So, mentoring is going to give people the direction and help them avoid major mistakes. Major mistakes. We want them making mistakes so they learn. We want to avoid that gaffe, that major mess up that actually will derail them completely. And a mentor does that. They're not a babysitter. They're not an emotional support partner. That's somebody who's been there before and they can help shorten the path. The other thing about a mentor is that, well, frankly, sometimes people change their minds, and that's okay. It isn't a failure, it's insight. And the mentor can help them find the path that aligns best with their talents, their desires, their aspirations. Now, I promised you a development hack, and here it is. When you assign a mentor, you are sending a very powerful signal. That signal simply says, we believe in you. Employee knows this because you're not just investing money, you're investing a much more valuable commodity. You're investing someone else's time. And that helps reinforce that esteem I talked about, that sense that you're valued by the rest of the team. And it triggers a natural desire to reciprocate. Human survival is basically designed around reciprocation because we need to support each other. So when you give to somebody, they want to give back. They want to contribute more. They want to step up and not disappoint. They want to justify that trust that you've placed in them. Mentoring does all that. Now, while mentoring guides, coaching improves. Coaching sharpens skills, they reveal blind spots, and it solves problems that come up in real time. Think about baseball. The coach steps outside. They may not be as good a batter as the person they're coaching, but they can see things that the batter can't. So it's short, it's focused, it's actionable. You also need to have development check ins. So you need to have regular conversations about the person's progress. Review those milestones we talked about, reinforce those wins, and identify their support needs and adjust the plans as needed. See, when you're consistent in your check ins, it prevents drift and it strengthens their commitment because it's showing your commitment. So if you want your growth plan to work, start with the foundation. Evaluate the safety. Are you creating a sense of belonging? Are you providing the esteem that's required? If you're not, strengthen any gaps. Then build your development plan. When that foundation is solid, your growth plan will stick. And if you're not sure where to begin, go ahead, schedule a complimentary coaching call using the link in the description below. Join the Radical Accountability Movement. Watch the next video right here and subscribe so you never miss a tactical breakthrough with Locked On Leadership.